Welcome back to the Vandy Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Dwyer here at Memorial Gymnasium after Vanderbilt's 74-67 win over USC Upstate. This one had 10 lead changes, but Vanderbilt pulled away behind a 9-0 and 7-0 run in the second half, led by Tasos Kamateros, who had 21 points, only missed one shot tonight. Tonight's game ended in Tasos chance. Nice win for Tasos Kamateros. Vanderbilt, obviously not an ideal night, but escaped. 2 quad 4 losses in the first week would certainly not have been ideal. And you know what else isn't ideal is laundry day. Today's show is presented by the Wash House. Are you dreading laundry day? I certainly am. Is it stealing time from the things you truly enjoy? Certainly is for me. Let the laundry professionals at the Wash House take care of that for you with 2 convenient locations in the greater Nashville area. Just drop off your dirty laundry and our professional attendants can give you back the one thing you can never have enough of, your time. Within 24 hours, you can pick up your nicely folded, fresh and clean laundry ready to be put away. Check out www.washhouseclean.com and stop in today to get your time back. Well, Vanderbilt finds a way to avoid the bad loss, and sometimes it's more important than finding the tremendous win. Vanderbilt, with 2 quad 4 losses in the first week, would have been in a real hole. Certainly isn't a real hole right now with 1 quad 4 loss, but having 2 in the first week, it's really hard to make that up, and Vanderbilt escapes that today. Finds its veterans late in the second half, and finds it really has something in Tasos Kamateros. Vanderbilt's offense struggled throughout most of this game, but really got going once Tasos Kamateros became a factor. Every time he shot a 3, it felt like he was going in after that first one, and it felt like he just got more and more confident. The third 3 he shot then made, I thought was a heat check, and then he shot a worse one for the 4th, and they both went in. So that kind of tells you what kind of night it was for Tasos Kamateros. Also went in the lane and made a play. I think Vanderbilt, without Lee Dort and Van Allen Lubin, still struggles to find a little bit of a post presence, but Tasos Kamateros made up for that tonight. And frankly, against USC Upstate, sometimes you don't need to be your best, and Vanderbilt wasn't today. He got 0 points from Jason Rivera-Torres. Didn't get a whole lot from really most of its freshman class, but its 2 veterans, Ezra Magnon and Tasos Kamateros, stepped up down the stretch and found a way to get Vanderbilt in this game and found a way to escape. And like I said, that's probably the most important part. Looking at the actual meat and bones of this game, probably not the best performance from Vanderbilt throughout the first half. Had 8 turnovers, shot 1 for 12 from 3. I thought took some bad shots from 3 as well. Jerry Stackhouse attributed a lot of Vanderbilt's early struggles offensively to nerves and kind of trying to press a little bit, and you could certainly make a case for that and make an argument for that. It felt like this team was pressing a little bit and feeling like, well, we can't lose again. And I think that sort of mentality, as you've seen with Vanderbilt football this year, leads you to actually lose those type of games. And Vanderbilt kind of got away from that later on, and it was certainly beneficial as it started to kind of play free and play with some confidence. That's what Vanderbilt needs to do down the stretch, and that's what it'll need to do Tuesday against UNC Greensboro. I don't think it beats UNC Greensboro with this type of performance, but maybe it has some guys back. Tyron Lawrence told Stack he's feeling good. Wasn't wearing a boot tonight. We'll see if he's wearing a boot leaving the gym, but feels like Vanderbilt's in a better spot than it was a couple days ago. Obviously, Stack said it was a rough 3 days, kind of having to sit in that loss, and you can certainly see why. It feels like Vanderbilt maybe has something to build on here, though. Obviously, not a great first half, but second half felt a little bit better for it, and it felt like maybe this is something that you can take into UNC Greensboro, especially if you get Tyron Lawrence and or Van Allen Lubin and or Lee Dort back. You can certainly find a way to spin this one as maybe a building block. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think there was a lot wrong in this game. I think Vanderbilt's veterans throughout the first half were a little stingy with the ball. I think they turned it over too much. A lot of that was due to their freshmen having to play big minutes, but Vanderbilt's offense wasn't good enough tonight, shooting 32% in the first half, turning it over. Their assist-to-turnover ratio is abysmal at this point in the year, and with a veteran guard, I don't know that it should be that way. Ezra Magnon, I think, has been fine, but overall as a group, you'd expect that to improve, but right now they're nowhere near where they need to be offensively, and I think Jerry Stackhouse would probably tell you that if he's on True Serum. I think he pretty much did tell that tonight. I think a lot of that he attributes to nerves and them not fully being capable in their actions yet, having to play a lot of young guys, which is understandable, but also what's concerning is Colin Smith and Paul Lewis not having tremendous outings. I think that's probably the one thing I look at and I'm like, interesting. Those guys are supposed to take leaps. Haven't seen it quite yet. It's a long season, and Stack mentioned that in the presser. Breakthrough probably doesn't happen in this game. Maybe it happens for Tasos Kamateros. He was tremendous, and I think that moment meant a lot to him, having the students chant his name and such, but I think you're going to need those guys to really step up when it matters, and haven't done that to this point. I think there's been some cramping issues with those two, but you need more from that sophomore class. Isaiah West, I thought, was pretty decent tonight. Looked like a veteran And I said at one point on the board that Isaiah West looked like more of a veteran than Paul Lewis, and I think that was a real thing. Paul Lewis took some bad shots, didn't get Vanderbilt into its actions the way maybe you would have hoped. Isaiah West seemed to do a really nice job, scored Vanderbilt's first 4 points, and there was a scoring drought of over 5 minutes in that span that Isaiah West snapped. So Isaiah West was good. Vanderbilt, I think, has a lot of room to go in terms of finding a post presence and finding explosive scoring. Tyron Lawrence, I think, will help with that. Van Allen Lubin will help with the post scoring element. But Vanderbilt's got a lot to work on offensively. When you have scoring droughts of over 5 minutes and then almost 4 minutes in one half, it's really hard to win that way. And I think Vanderbilt's going to have a hard time winning that way if it looks forward and sees, I guess, Kentucky or a team like that. It's going to have a hard time beating them anyway, but it's got to do it behind explosive offense. I thought Vanderbilt's defense was okay tonight. Not great. USC Upstate, a team that was picked 6th in the Big South, shot 50% from 3 on them, made 10 threes. 10 threes is good enough to keep you in the game no matter what's going on, really. And Vanderbilt's got to defend the line a little bit better. I think USC Upstate made some really tough shots, but also what I was looking at that was a little disappointing was how Vanderbilt didn't give shooters room to land. I think that's a coaching point that Jerry Stackhouse will really try to ingrain in them, is to just be a little less aggressive on those closeouts. It really hurt Vanderbilt early and allowed USC Upstate to get bailed out of some possessions where it took bad shots. So that's a coaching point, I would think. And Vanderbilt's rebounding was superb tonight, but that's also a team without as much size as they'll generally see. 37-20 in the rebounding battle is something. Vanderbilt, I think, took a step forward in that area. Carter Lang has been a really good rebounder for him. Tasos Kamateros was okay on the glass as well. Vanderbilt got some offensive rebounds as well. Colin Smith did some good things there. Really, the guys I'm looking for a step from is Colin Smith and Paul Lewis, though, and I think that's certainly fair. I think those guys need to take steps, and I'm also not counting out Jason Rivera-Torres' breakout game. I think he showed you some good things early in Presbyterian. Didn't do much today, didn't play a whole lot today, neither did Malik Presley, but I think Vanderbilt has something, at least in Isaiah West and Carter Lang. At this point, both of them guard at a high level, and I think both of them do some good things that more noticed throughout the day. Are either of them going to be stars this year or guys who propel you to wins over Kentucky? Probably not. But I think both of them showed some good things and showed they could potentially be rotation guys. Those two, I think, maybe have the most translatable skills at this point. J.K. Roberts had a nice dunk, but I think the rest of them maybe are a little more in progress, although Jason Rivera-Torres, I think, has the highest ceiling and may have the most breakout potential this year. Vanderbilt, though, finds a way to win, and I can't tell you how valuable it is. They didn't cover the spread, which is going to hurt its net. Probably fall a spot or two in KenPom tomorrow, I would guess. Not a great outing when you trade leads with USC Upstate 10 times, but I mean, the committee doesn't care that your top 3 players are out, and Vanderbilt's top 3 players weren't out. Its best player, and then its best center, and another one of its centers. I'll refrain from saying which one is which because we haven't seen it yet, but I think Vanderbilt is going to be hurt a little bit in KenPom from these 2 games. It fell nearly 20 spots after the last game, but we'll see. I think Vanderbilt's in a not awesome spot right now, but if it can go string together some wins, it's got a chance. And if they lost this game, it's really hard to find a way they had a chance. So just finding a way to win here was important. Ideally, they'd cover the spread and be able to boost some of their metrics, but not a perfect world. And it's November. I think we got to remember that, but tonight's performance was not good enough. Like I said, they wouldn't have beat any other team on their schedule, really, outside of maybe Central Arkansas and another mid-major or two, maybe Dartmouth, with that performance. So it has to be better, but I think you leave tonight looking mostly at Tasos Kamateros and also being concerned about its offense, being concerned about it, defending the three-point line. A lot to work on for this team, but also finding a way to win at this stage is important, and maybe something that can move forward on. UNC Greensboro, I'm not convinced is a team they beat if they don't have Tyron Lawrence and Van Allen Lubin. I'm not convinced they beat them with those guys not 100% healthy playing. There's a couple days until then, so we'll see. Jerry Stackhouse didn't really give an update on Lubin or Lawrence. Said he didn't really have one, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough couple of days projecting what's going to happen in that game, but if Vanderbilt can go get that one, maybe I'm a little more confident that it has something. When you lose to Presbyterian, though, there's generally bigger problems than losing to Presbyterian, and I think we've seen that throughout 3 of the 4 halves that this team has played. Not awesome basketball by any stretch. So it's got a lot to work on, even had a lot to work on early in that second half, but made the runs when it needed to, and we'll see. Like I said, not good enough to beat an SEC team outside of, I guess, the way LSU is playing tonight. But, yeah, not a good night for Vanderbilt's offense. Better night for its defense, I guess. Big thing, though, Vanderbilt finds a way to win. Tasos Kamateros shows he can spark you. Ezra Magnon goes 8 of 8 from the line, and Vanderbilt finds a way to win. Thank you to the Wash House, and thank you guys for watching. Billy and I will be here on Tuesday, and we'll see how that one goes. That's certainly a game that you'll learn a lot about Vanderbilt from. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. Peace.